Hello, everyone. National Voluntary Blood Donation Month is the occasion from 1st October to 31st October. And the National Voluntary Blood Donation Day is on 1st October. Every year, we have several blood donation occurring, and most of them are due to replacement donors and not because of voluntary blood donation. Voluntary blood donation is the aim where all replacement donors can also be converted to voluntary blood donors. To talk on the topic, we have today Dr. Hubert Daka, consultant pathologist and in charge blood bank from Nazareth Hospital, Shillong. Sir is an eminent pathologist here and is an active member working with the state as well as the center to promote voluntary blood donation. May I invite Hubert sir now to talk on this topic on the present National Voluntary Blood Donation Month. Sir, it's the mic, the stage is yours all. Is all yours now.
Thank you, Pramod, for the introduction. And as we all know that 1st of October is a National Voluntary Blood Donation Day, and the whole month of October is observed as a National Voluntary Blood Donation Month. To introduce to this topic, as we have said that 1st October every year is celebrated or observed as National Voluntary Blood Donation Day. The emphasis of this day is to share the need and importance of the blood in the life of an individual. And it was first started celebrating on 1st of October in the year 1975 through the Indian Society of Blood Transfusion and Immunohematology. Why this day is observed as a National Voluntary Blood Donation Day? In India as a whole, most of the blood donation is by replacement, and very less number is through voluntary blood donation. So the WHO and the National Blood Transfusion Council is advocating and encouraging that we should convert to 10% voluntary blood donation. As we all know that blood is a vital component of human life, it provides the crucial nourishment to the body, tissues, and organs. And the National Voluntary Blood Donation Day is celebrated or observed to bring the great changes in the society, to convert to 10% voluntary blood donation. And the theme of this year is Keep Blood and Keep the World Beating. If the heart stops, the world will stop beating. Why the heart stops? Because of less of blood, and the patient may die. So we need blood to be donated. That's why the slogan says, keep blood and keep the world beating. Facts about blood transfusion practices. Blood for humans comes only from human. So far, there are no known factories that can manufacture human blood, and we cannot transfuse animals' blood or blood products to human beings. And this is a slogan which I have coined. Irrespective of caste, creed, or religion, blood is read for everyone. Blood speaks the universal language where it has no bar for caste, creed, or religion. You can donate it to save somebody's life. The reality of human blood, because this based on our experience in our blood center or blood banks all over the state and all over the country. People think that blood is available in the pharmacy, but it is not so. It is not available in general store. There are no factories that can manufacture human blood. We cannot buy or sell blood. That's why we write, cannot be bought or sold. And blood does not flow from the tap. Where you want A, you open one tap. Where you want B, you open one tap. Where you want O, etc. But what we need, the reality is that we need voluntary blood donors who will come to the blood bank and donate their blood so that we can give somebody a second chance to live. These are the life and death situations where blood is required, like an anemia, surgery, during child labor or during pregnancy, during accidents, patients who have blood disorders like hemophilia, thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, and especially in the present time where pandemic has affected our Well, we really need blood to save somebody's life. That's why we have put these situations as life and death situations where blood is required. What are the types of blood donors? It takes all type where giving is equal to living. So what are these types of blood donors? Types of blood donors are voluntary blood donors. And among the voluntary blood donors, they are the first-time donor. First-time donor means those who have donated blood for the very first time in their life. And then lapsed voluntary blood donor is a person who have donated voluntarily once and may not be able to give in the next consecutive years, but be fit again in the few years to come. And regular is the one who's really fit and who is healthy and who doesn't involve himself in bad habits or who never falls sick and regularly coming and giving blood once in 3 months or at least once in a year for consecutive years. These are called voluntary blood donor. I would like to share with you some of the interesting evidence that we have or experience that we have in our blood center. The first-time blood donor, we do have young children or young adults coming these days celebrating their 18th birthday by giving blood. That's why it takes all type and giving is equal to living. Replacement blood donor are the donor who keeps blood in replacing what they have been taking from the blood bank. Or either if somebody called someone to come and donate blood, it's not a voluntary blood donation, but it's a replacement blood donor. Or a relatives giving to their own relatives is a replacement donor. We do have a forced blood donor who have been forced to give blood. Autologous blood donor is a person who gives blood by himself or by herself, for himself or for herself. We have apheresis donor who keeps only part of the components of the blood during donation. Example, those people or donor who have donated only the platelets when it's required. These are called apheresis. We take only part of the component of the blood and the rest goes back to the body. The last but not the least, which need not to be mentioned, they are the professional blood sellers. It is very discouraging to see that most of our experiences in our blood bank, we do find people bringing in professional blood sellers. You buy blood, 1 unit from professional blood sellers, you get many diseases for free because these professional blood sellers are liars, they are alcoholics or having high-risk behaviors, they may be drug addicts and they are potential carriers of many diseases. That's why you buy 1 unit of blood from these professional blood sellers, you get many diseases for free. Of all these donors, the safest blood donors are the voluntary blood donors and the autologous blood donor. The question maybe arises where you will ask, why voluntary and autologous are safe, why not the rest? You will be testing the blood in the blood bank before giving. It is mandatory to test only for 5 diseases. What about the other diseases? So that's why we have to look for the reliable and a safe source. So the reliable and safe source are only voluntary and autologous. Replacement forced blood donors, they may be telling lies because in case of emergencies, they may deny the past and the present illnesses, what they are having, or they don't want to know about their high-risk behaviors so that their relatives or near and dear ones may know. So they may lie at the blood bank and they may become potential carriers of diseases. So how to get safe blood? To get safe blood, it starts with you and me. And the safe source is voluntary and autologous, as we have discussed earlier. What are the challenges that we are facing in our blood transfusion services? Of course, there are so many blood groups that are needed, but few support to the blood transfusion services. Most of us are afraid. Most of us are having misconception about blood donation. Of course, there is another barrier that obstructs us from not giving blood, that is culture, customs, and religion. And of course, we have lack of responsibility. We are now running low on blood, but can't you help us? So we need blood donors. The myth and false beliefs about blood donation. Don't believe everything you hear. There are 3 sides of the stories, yours, theirs, and the truth. This is the best quote of all. So we should believe in the truth about voluntary blood donation. What are the myths and false beliefs about blood donation, and what are the truth? We will become weak and sick after blood donation. We will not be weak or sick. We will be just fine after blood donation. We are hardworking and will not be able to continue working. It's not so. You can go back to work after blood donation. But what you need to take rest on that day and take plenty of liquids on that day. When I say plenty of liquids, it doesn't mean alcohol. We can gain weight after blood donation. This is none of the sort that will happen. It's only psychological and mental thoughts only. Selling the donated blood. Most of the people who have donated blood voluntarily accuses the blood banks all over and say that we are selling the blood. We are not selling, but blood cannot be bought or sold. We are charging only the processing charge for the blood bags, for the tests that we are doing, and the preservation in the blood bank refrigerators that we are preserving the blood. That is processing charges. And this also is already regulated by the licensing authority. We cannot charge beyond that. When I and my relatives need blood in emergency, I will not get it if I donate blood voluntarily. This will not happen if there are 10% voluntary blood donation and when the donation is regular. We will not fall short of blood supply if there is a constant supply of blood. I will donate blood only when it's needed. Why wait for that time? You can donate anytime. Because if you wait for the time needed, it takes time for the blood to be processed and then be given for the person in need to save a life. So we may lose precious time and precious minutes or seconds. But if we donate it earlier and 10% voluntary blood donation, we can tie over the crisis in times of emergencies. We can contract diseases while donating blood. No, it cannot be. All safety protocols are being followed and it's safe procedures. Especially in the present time of pandemic, many people are scared to come to the blood bank and say that we will contract COVID and we will be affected, but not so. We are taking all safety protocols and then we are following the universal protocols of pandemic situations to protect and to prevent the spread of the infection. Here is a reality comparison. According to our human nature, we do have these. We are less afraid to start bad habits like consuming tobacco, either smoke or smoke less tobacco. We are less afraid to start consuming alcohol. Even at the early age or the early stages of our life, we are not afraid to do so, but we are more afraid to start donating blood, which is not dangerous for us. So let us wake up and have a courageous heart to come forward to donate blood voluntarily. We do have some few experiences encountered in our blood banks. We do have negative experiences and positive experiences. The negative experiences are husband refused to give blood for his or his own wife. This is very bad, and we do encounter very oftenly in our blood banks, which I used to feel ashamed of myself. But the common positive experiences are young generations celebrate their 18th birthday by donating blood voluntarily, which is a good sign. And then they bring in professional blood sellers. Like what I said, you buy 1 unit of blood from professional blood sellers, you get many diseases for free. We have no one to give blood, but this is what we always have. But the person who comes to the blood bank has so many to come and say that we have no one. So we are all human beings. We cannot say that we have no one. All are weak and sick, hardworking, and only breadwinner of the family. It is not so. Even though we work very hard, we can still donate blood and go back to our work. There's no harm in it. We will give you money, give us blood. Blood cannot be bought or sold. And if we can push the money inside the blood vessels of a person, then we can think of pushing the money and then buy the blood. But we cannot push the money, so we cannot buy blood. You have a blood bank and give blood. We cannot see a patient die because of no blood. Blood bank is like any other bank. We need depositors. If you don't deposit money in the bank, you cannot go and draw money. So we need blood depositors in the blood bank. so that we can issue the blood for the person in need. Pushing the other first. You go first, as the saying goes. The first will be the last and the last will be the first. Present time pandemic, people are scared to come forward, as I've said earlier. We should not be scared because we are following safety protocols. We do have some positive experiences, like what I've shared earlier. And even on Valentine's Day, there are couples coming and pledge their love to each one of them by saying, I love you, or I pledge my love for you by donating blood. So both of them, they come and donated blood. Wedding anniversaries or death anniversaries of one of their dear and loved ones, they do come to give blood in order to remember and to observe the day. We do have also some special occasions, like in the faith-based and community-based organization, where, example, during Holy Week or during Good Fridays or during Puja holidays, we do get people coming and donating blood voluntarily. Foundation Day of the institution, in order to observe that day and to do something good for someone who cannot repay, they donate blood voluntarily. So India needs more blood donors. Your blood is precious. Donate it and make it divine. I've never donated blood before. For those who haven't started, you should start and say, I am starting now. The message are, donate blood voluntarily. Do not be scared. It's never too late to start if you haven't started. And if you have started doing it, please continue to do it regularly. Please support and give the blood transfusion services to maintain adequate supply of human blood. Voluntary blood donors are lifesavers. Together, we can achieve the 10% voluntary blood donation. Alone, we cannot do anything, but together we can achieve this target. So keep blood and keep the world beating. Let us make a difference today by becoming a regular voluntary blood donor. It doesn't mean that you can become a voluntary blood donor, you contribute to saving lives. But even though you are not fit to donate blood voluntarily, you can be a motivator, you can be an organizer, you can be an agent of change to change the mindset of our people. So let us make a difference today. Thank you. I hope it has enlightened about voluntary blood donation. Have a great day and do continue to support the blood transfusion services to save somebody's life who is hanging on the cliff.
Thank you very much, sir. It was indeed a great talk. I invite each and every one of you to become a voluntary blood donor. Thank you. That's all for today.